Anastasia, and we are here with our school superintendent, Dr. Hansen. He is here to answer some questions about our school ISATs. So, Dr. Hansen, do you believe that ISATs has a positive impact or negative impact on the Eastland schools?
Well, the achievement tests are something that we have to do by law, and whether or not they have a positive or negative impact is really the result of how people use that information. So some things that I wrote down when you asked me this question, if the students make a good effort on the test, and if the teachers and the administrators look at the results, and if they use those results to plan differently, and to make changes to improve things in the future, then that can have a very positive effect. And a good example of that in our district would be, we looked at our math results about 7 years ago, and we started a new math curriculum in the elementary school, the Math in Focus curriculum, and our scores have improved every year for 6 years straight. So that's how they can have a positive impact.
All right. What type of impact do you believe ISATs have on Eastland schools?
Well, in the previous years, before this last year, the tests were really, believe it or not, too easy. The score that you had to get a good grade on the test, to be considered proficient, was so low that almost every student got over it. And the problem with that is it doesn't really help us decide what's working and what's not if every student can get over it. It would be like having a high jump contest and putting the bar at 3 foot. Everybody would get over it. If you raise that bar, then you can figure out who's getting over it, who's not getting over it, and you can help the ones who aren't getting over it. So now that the scores are a little higher and the test is a little harder, I think it's more helpful. It might not seem helpful if you're taking a hard test, but it really is more helpful because it's kind of like in sports, and you might understand this, if you play a really good team, you get a good sense of if you're really good or not. And you have to do that or you don't really know, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay.
How could the ISAT testing be improved?
I think it could be improved if we got one test that worked for all grade levels, including high school. Right now we have the ISATs for grades K through 8, and then we change over to something different in the high school, the ACT, and that's not great because we're changing in the middle of a student's career. So I think one big improvement would be if we could get one type of test that was used starting in kindergarten all the way through 12th grade.
Okay. What can help students satisfy their stress?
Well, I think when it comes to stress, I think the thing I want to remind everybody is that stress isn't bad, okay? It might feel bad, and none of us like to feel stress all the time, but it takes some stress in order to get better.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't think anything significant has ever been accomplished without stress. Okay? And if you had no stress, yeah, your life would be easy, but you wouldn't grow very much. That being said, if you have too much stress, it can be debilitating. I mean, if you're so nervous you're getting sick to your stomach, you're not sleeping, then you're not going to have a very productive day, right? So I think the best advice I can give anybody about stress is the more prepared you are, the easier it is to manage your stress. Have you ever gone in and taken a test that you didn't prepare for very well?
Yeah.
That's more stressful than taking a test where you prepared really well. So I think preparation, and in school, students don't always understand this, but preparation really isn't studying for the ISAT. It means, are you doing your best every day? Are you coming to school every day? Are you doing your best every day? And if you do that, you'll be ready when the test comes around. The problem is if you're missing a lot of school, or you're blowing off some of your work and you're not really doing your best, then you won't be as prepared as you want to be, and then you're going to be stressed out because you know you're not as prepared as you should be. So,
thank you. Through your years in education, how do you think students could do to prepare for the test and cope with the stress of taking the test?
I think, like I just said, I just think making a good effort every day, attending school every day. When something is hard, instead of quitting on it, try harder. Push through. Get help. If you don't understand something and it's difficult, get help. That's a really hard thing for us sometimes to do, is to ask for help, but it's really important.
Right.
I think those things would help the most.
Thank you. Do you think ISAT testing puts stress on teachers as well?
It does, and it's more so now because schools and teachers and administrators like myself, we're being held accountable. We have a report card that's published throughout the state and in the newspapers that says how our school is doing, and that is holding us accountable. So we want our students to do well because we want it to show that we are good at what we do. And we want it to reflect well on our school and our performance. So it didn't used to be that way, but I think now it is more stressful for teachers and for administrators. But like I just told you, stress isn't necessarily bad. As a matter of fact, some stress is good. We need it. So as long as we control it, just like the students, the administrators and teachers have to control it and use it productively. If you get bad scores and you sit around and complain, that's not really a productive way to deal with it. But if you take those scores and you say, I wonder why we missed this question. Why are the kids having trouble with this question? And you can figure out why and change something. That makes you feel good. You've made a change. You've made a positive change, and the students should benefit from it.
Thank you, Dr. Hansen.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome to the Student Life portion of this week's Pridecast. Today we are discussing the topic of stress while testing.
A few weeks ago we had ISATs. Most people hate testing. Kids' stress levels can get very high and these tests can take a lot of time to complete. From my personal experience, I take ages to complete this massive test.
I also face a lot of stress and anxiety while testing. Stress can be a good or bad thing.
While test taking, many people suffer from bad stress. Stress can continue without relief. It can lead to headaches, upset stomach, elevated blood pressure, chest pain, and loss of sleep. Stress can also create wrinkles.
Stress can affect you even after taking these dreaded tests, and we have found a few tips for nervous test takers. Slow your thoughts and breathing, and focus on your heartbeat and positive feelings.
Sit comfortably, don't hunch over or stiffen up. Relax yourself and your body.
Expect and accept a little bit of stress. It's natural to feel stress while testing. Don't overreact. Accept the feeling and then let it go.
Use all of the time provided. Do not rush or speed through.
Hope these fast facts were helpful and try using a few of them during your next test. Thanks for watching.